I'm here to tell you that everything you think you know about dating is completely wrong. And it doesn't matter whether you've been studying the art of dating for years, I don't care how many books you've read, I don't care if you've never bothered studying anything about dating and the only lessons you've ever had about love are things that you've picked up in Disney movies. The reality is the average person on this planet has literally zero idea how dating works. And what's fascinating is, despite the fact that people don't actually know how it works, people tend to get success at it all the time. Right now, as we're speaking, somebody somewhere is in a bar talking to somebody and they're going to end up in a relationship. Somebody else is having intimate relations with somebody that they care about that they've only met for the very first time. Human beings are designed to do one thing, and that is meet and attract other people, and yet, fascinatingly, so few of us actually know what we're doing. Can you imagine if everybody that drove cars just had no idea how they worked? They literally didn't know how to drive a car, they'd never done a lesson, they just got in one day and kind of figured it out. Imagine what it would look like the first time they started driving that car. It would be devastating, terrible. That's the teenage years for most of us when it comes to dating. You just have no idea how it works, and you kind of bimble around and fumble until it actually works. And then one day, years later, you meet an expert, and the expert says to you, hey, you got a really funny sound coming from your car. Do you ever think about maybe adding water to the radiator? And you're like, the car has a radiator? You just don't even know that that's something that you potentially need to do or to add some coolant because nobody's ever told you. And that's what dating is like. Dating is like you're kind of figuring out how it works. And unless somebody comes and gives you something that you've never thought of before, then you really just don't understand how to make it work. I'll break it down for you. I'll share something with you that everybody knows about dating, and yet you've probably never thought about. Did you know it's a universally accepted rule that if you are in a relationship with somebody, it's easier to find somebody else? We all know this. People that are married that have wedding rings are hit on more than anybody else. And yet, when we're single, the very first thing you do if you're a divorcee is throw away the wedding ring, which is nuts, because we know that that's one of the main attractors that get people to want to be with you. Why is that? It's very simple. Psychologists discovered this years ago. It's a concept known as pre-selection. If somebody finds you attractive, other people are automatically going to find you attractive. Why? Because of a selection process. You've already passed one person's selection process. Therefore, if I believe that I'm on par with the person whose selection process you passed, then you're probably okay for me as well. Social proof or pre-selection is how most humans make decisions in life. We look at what other people do, and then we use that information to let us know what we should do. I want you to think about this for a moment. Think about the reality of what roads look like. Think about how many times you see ramps and uneven roads. Ask yourself, does it make a lot of sense to have a car that's low to the ground? How about going out with friends? How many seats do you genuinely need in a car? Would you agree at least 4, maybe 6, maybe 7? So what if I had a car that only had 2 seats? So we're talking about a car that's low to the ground, only has 2 seats, but it can go 240 miles per hour in a fraction of the time of any other car. But you still got to stick to the 40 mile an hour speed limit in your hometown. Ultimately, the idea of owning a Lamborghini should be completely useless to most of the people on the planet. And yet still, for so many people, it's a dream car. A dream car that is completely impractical. Why do we want it? Because we see it everywhere. And people want it, and the social proof of other people wanting it makes us feel like we want it too. Most people would be significantly happier with a vehicle that was high off the ground and they could fit all of their friends in it and had a lot of trunk space. Maybe even somewhere to have a nap in the middle of the day where it'd be nice and cool with some air conditioning. And yet, while that is the most practical car and something that most of us would actually enjoy and use a lot of, many of us still lust after these incredible sports cars because we think that's what we really want. And that's kind of how dating is. Until somebody actually sits down and talks sense to you and breaks down how things should be, you kind of pine after things that you don't necessarily want. One thing that fascinates me is how many people will look at a relationship they're in and they'll instantly just start assuming that that relationship is terrible. And then they'll go to another relationship, and that relationship will be terrible. And then they'll go to another one, and so on and so forth. And they won't take into consideration the one element that was the same in every single relationship they were in: themselves. If every relationship you've ever had has sucked, if you've always been treated bad, if you're just meeting string after string of bad people, guess what? There is only one unifying factor in that, and it's you. And it sucks to hear it, and you're not going to want to face up to it, but it's the truth, and it is the factor I realized about my own dating life. At the age of 26, being dumped again by somebody who was cheating on me again, I found myself single again. No matter how much money I was putting into the relationship, how much time, how much effort, or how much self-sacrifice I told myself I needed to do to make this relationship work, they sucked. It all turned around when I made a decision to accept the harsh reality that if every single one of my relationships sucked, I was the factor. I was willing to admit it could be me. I might be wrong. In doing that, it allowed me to start thinking about what do I need to do to improve. So I started studying the art of dating. And by studying it, I mean reading every single book on the subject. What I rapidly found out is that many of these books suck. Most of them don't have actual advice that's practical to use or that breaks things down in a simple way. I remember for a long period of time, I was reading this random book that I found on the internet, and I started talking about vibing. So I'd be like, oh, if you hang out with somebody and you vibe, everything's good. Just vibe. What is a vibe? How do you vibe with someone? It's not a real thing. But I was using these words and these jargon as if I knew what it meant. After years of studying this subject, I've realized that dating is very simple. But you do have to look at the things that actually work. You have to own up to your own mistakes and be willing to improve. When you are a better caliber of person, the people you date improves in quality. That's simply because the people that are higher quality know what they're looking for. They know how to spot the people that aren't as good as them, and they use that as the criteria. You can't bullshit your way in a relationship. I mean, you might be able to for the first 18 months, but after that, people will start to see the real you. Out of interest, do you know what length of time the average relationship lasts for? 18 months. There's a reason for that. That's about as long as you can fake being somebody. I'm so good at predicting this, just based on that one factor, that when I meet students for the first time and they say they just got out of a relationship, I say, did it last about 18 months? And they go, yep. And I've got about a 70 to 80% accuracy on that guess. It's not a guess, it's just the facts. Most relationships end around the 18-month mark because that's when you start to get tired of hiding things, right? You're essentially, for up to a year, you can put on your best behavior. Then after that, you start reverting into the real you. Over the next 6 months, they start putting up with the behaviors, and then they can't take it anymore and you're over. Or vice versa. If you want to improve the quality of the people you date, there are essentially two things you have to do. One, improve yourself. Two, improve your ability to select a good partner. One of my favorite things I ask people is, how do you know you found a good partner? What are the key criteria you should be looking for? I hear people tell me they got to be attractive, they got to be beautiful. That's really not a factor you really want to consider. Most of the time, beauty is a mixture of these things: working out, eating healthy, taking the time to go to the doctor and look after any physical conditions that you may have, and then maybe learn about fashion, makeup if you're a woman, if that's the thing that you're after. And this is about it. A good haircut. That tends to make up attractiveness. Don't believe me? Just go online and search for celebrities without makeup, or what celebrities look like before Photoshop. And you'll see that some of the people that you think are the most attractive people you've ever seen on this planet are just normal people, just like the rest of us. The difference between attractive physically and unattractive physically is usually just effort. A lot of people that are physically unattractive, they're just not putting the effort in that they need to be attractive. They wonder why attractive people don't want to be with them. It's nothing to do with the physical looks. It's everything to do with laziness. Think about it. Would you want to be in a relationship with somebody where every single day you cooked food and they never did? Would you want to be in a relationship with somebody where every day you took 10% of your day and went out and worked out at the gym and they never did? They just sat around watching TV waiting for you to come home so you could cook them food? That doesn't sound like a good relationship. It's nothing to do with physical looks. It is everything to do with effort. And people like to hide behind it. Oh, because I'm unattractive, you don't want to be with me. It's nothing to do with that. It's everything to do with hard work and effort. One of my students is a woman from New Jersey. She weighed about 300 pounds, or just shy, I think 290. She was overweight, and her best friend was too. They both made a decision that they were going to lose weight. They were going to go and do a surgery to tighten their stomach, and then they were going to start working out. Only one of them did it. The other one said it was too expensive. Fast forward to today. One of them now weighs about 140 pounds, is 6 foot tall, has incredible figure, is incredibly beautiful, and is engaged to a successful man in San Francisco. They live in a beautiful house in San Fran, which is not cheap, and they are incredibly successful, both of them, when it comes to life. She herself earns about $90,000 a year, and her fiance earns significantly more than that. In contrast, her friend weighs about the same amount, hasn't done much in terms of her life, and is still single. When you piece these two things together, it's nothing to do with the physical looks. It is everything to do with the effort that they put in. So if we can remove physical looks as being the actual factor, what is it that makes a relationship successful? Because I'm telling you now that actually the success rate of a relationship is not dependent on how good you look or don't look. Somebody who is unattractive is as likely to maintain their relationship as someone who is. Another fun fact that I like is people in arranged marriages are just as likely or successful as people in non-arranged marriages. Meaning somebody else choosing who you date is as successful as you choosing it for yourself. These factors let us know that there must be something else going on. What makes a relationship successful? What makes it enjoyable? I like to bring up my own life. I've never had a relationship last longer than 8 years. And yet I'm a dating expert. Meanwhile, there are people that have been in relationships 50, 60 years. Surely they should be considered an expert as well. But there's another factor. I'm incredibly happy in every relationship I've ever been in. I know people that have been in relationships 40, 50 years, and they can't stand each other. The true metric, I believe, for your dating is your own happiness. The goal for dating is simple. Are you happy? If the answer is yes, it doesn't matter if you're single and seeing multiple people, if you've been in a relationship for 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, or 50, 60 years or more. The question is, are you happy? That is the one factor that you should be focused on. So with that in mind, when we look at a potential partner, it's really simple. All we have to do is think, what are the qualities in somebody else that make me happy? And then, in return, what can I be doing to make sure they're happy? If you're in a relationship and at any point you start thinking, I don't want to make that person happy anymore, that's when you really need to be thinking about getting out. When you no longer care about making the other person happy, or they don't make you happy, it's time to go. I was married for a long period of time. For me, a long period of time. I was together with my wife for 5 years. I was the one that initiated the divorce. I said, I can't do this anymore, I want out. And it all happened because I asked one of my students a question. When was the last time you were happy? And I was doing it to try and help them work out what they want to do in their life. However, I made the decision to ask myself that same question. I went home that night and I realized the last time I was happy was when we first started dating. The last time I was truly happy, the highlight, was when we first started dating. And that's when I realized something was wrong and I needed to get out. And so I made the decision to throw away my entire relationship. Not really. I made the decision to improve my life, to level it up and be a better person overall. And more importantly, to find happiness. So, if I was going to sum up what it takes in order for you to find a successful relationship, it'd be simple. Don't think about the beauty. Don't think about things when they're at their best. Think about things when they're at their worst. I want you to imagine dating somebody and you are sick as a dog. You're sniffling and you can't breathe correctly and you can't move. Your body aches and everything sucks and it's raining outside and you can't go to your favorite places. Because whenever I ask somebody what do they imagine doing in a relationship, they say the same thing. We'll go on hikes. We'll watch movies together. We'll see shows. It's like, sure, if you're a multi-millionaire with all the free time in the world, that's exactly what you do. But the reality is that's not life. So let's take it real. It is a gray, rainy day and you are sick as a dog. But you're with the person who makes you happy. What are they doing to make you happy? We're going to add another caveat here. They're also sick. Why? Because that's much more realistic. If you're being physically intimate with somebody and you're sick, they're sick too. So you're both sick. You're sitting on the sofa. The idea that they're going to dote on you and make you a lovely hot chocolate and some lemon and honey and give you medicine and massage you and put you to sleep, that ain't happening. That's not the real world. In the real world, you are both sick. You are terrible. You're at the gloomiest, glummy part of your life. What makes you happy? What about that situation would make it better? So I'll give you some ideas. Maybe you're watching a TV show on Netflix. Are you arguing about what you're going to watch? If so, that's probably not the right person for you. When you're sitting there, are they trying to make you look after them? You're focused on trying to get better yourself. They need to be focused on getting better themselves. Can you laugh about it when you sneeze everywhere? When you're all messy and one of you accidentally sneezes and pees yourself a little bit, can you fix that? Is everything okay? Can you both giggle about that situation? Because as you get older, those situations happen more often. I've got 4 children, a 5th one on the way. Every single time my partner's pregnant, they pee when they laugh. It's just like a side effect of being pregnant. There's extra weight on the bladder. This is a normal thing that happens. Are you going to make them feel awkward about it? Or can you just laugh about that situation? Are you going to make fun of them, or are you going to use it to tell everything's okay? This is what makes a successful relationship. It's these extra moments. And if you're trying to get better at dating, start here. Start at the worst moments. See how somebody acts in a terrible situation. My favorite tip is this. When you see somebody interact with a bartender or a server at my favorite coffee shop, which is Starbucks, how do they treat people? Because the way they treat the people that they view as below them is how one day they're going to treat you when they've decided that they're the better person in the relationship. One of my favorite dates to take people to is Starbucks. I'll walk them in, I'll let them order, and then I'll watch how they treat people. Are they ignoring the server? Are they giving them attention? These factors are going to let me know a lot more about who that person is and whether I want to date them or not. And then, when I'm looking at the qualities that I like, it's not about physical attractiveness. It's not about how impressive they are or the cool things they've done. I want to know, do we have things in common? Do we enjoy the same kind of things? If I show them something that I'm really passionate about, do they care and do they jump on board? If they do, I'm in a good place. If I show them something that I'm in love with and they say to me, it's kind of lame, that's not the right person for me. And I know this right away. I'm passionate about certain things and I want someone to love the things I'm passionate about. Likewise, when I like somebody, I get passionate about the things that they like. One of the women that I'm dating, she's not only someone that I believe is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, she's a photographer. And she's a really good photographer. She's so good at photography that she told me that one of the things that she wished she had was a printer, but an industrial strength printer, one of the big ones that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, so she could print full-scale artwork. I've said to her numerous times, we should buy one. We don't have space for it. They're expensive as hell, and she would really only be using it to print her own artwork that she could give to people as gifts. And yet, it's something that I propose that we get, even though I don't really know anything about that. But I suggest it because she cares about it. Now, granted, she keeps telling me no and we don't have it yet. But the point is, one other way that I can show love with somebody that I care about is using their hobbies as an additional way to love them. If I could teach you one lesson about love, I believe one movie captures it perfectly. And it's the movie What Dreams May Come by Robin Williams, or with Robin Williams. Cuba Gooding Jr. as well. I would strongly suggest that anybody who wants to understand love watches that movie. I have never found a better way to illustrate what love truly is other than the way that he feels love for her. I want to be very clear. I don't think the way she demonstrates love is very good. But I think that Robin Williams' demonstration of what love looks like is perfect throughout the entire movie. Spoiler alert, I'm going to take you through the key things you should be watching for. 1, he uses the things she cares about as ways to love her further. In return, she does not do that for him. He goes out of his way on his busiest days to make sure that he shows up for her and supports her on her most stressful of days. She does not do the same for him. Towards the end of the movie, he tries to bring her out of one of the worst situations you could ever be in. And he self-sacrifices himself in order to do that, so that he can be with her. She does not do the same for him. Not to critique her, because obviously this is a movie, it's just a pre-written script. But I think if you watch the movie, you will see what true love looks like, and that is his love for her, and you'll see what unrequited love looks like when she's not returning that back to him. If we remove that entire concept, we don't worry about that key element, you should be looking for someone that treats you the way that Robin Williams treats his partner. But at the same time, you should be treating your partner the way Robin Williams does. Because when you show up 100% for your partner, and you have a partner that shows up 100% for you, you're starting to understand what real dating is. Now, there are people that are going to listen to this, and they're going to be like, yeah, but where's the pickup line? Or what do I do to get a date in the first place? If you think any of that stuff comes before what I'm talking about, you are sorely mistaken, and it's why your dating life sucks. Because the first part about dating is to remember that you are either the chooser or the choosee. And you need to be the chooser. There is always one person chasing, and there is one person who is in control. And you need to be the person in control. You need to be so confident of who you are that you are the power. Because that way you're always being chased, and that way you always are the one that chooses what happens in this relationship. That makes you the most attractive from an external standpoint, and internally gives you the best kind of security. Now, in a perfect relationship, your partner also feels that they're in that position. And both of you feel like the chooser and the choosee, and that's when everything's great. But when you're getting into a relationship for the first time, you don't know who they are. You're not there to show up for them. You're there to be the best version of you, and to assess whether they're good enough for you. And when you go into a relationship for the first time with the mental attitude of, I am the best, I am incredible, and I don't know who you are, but I'm willing to meet you. And I'm going to show up and I'm going to be my best self. And I'm going to hope that you are the same, and this is going to be a great match. But we're not showing up being arrogant, because that wouldn't be our best self. We're not showing up judging, because that wouldn't be our best self. But internally, we know who we are, and we know that we are the chooser. The minute you can have that mindset, you go from being desperate, needy, weird, strange, sending awkward messages, doubting yourself, to just being a really awesome person who can show up and be the best that you can possibly be. And that's why we always start here.